Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and yes, I finally finished fine-tuning my ultimate lazy heavy gunner build. And I need to say something. I'm afraid that I'm addicted to this particular build. It may be really hard to switch if you try this build. So that's the only issue I have with this build. It's just too convenient to play. To the point it's addictive. Can laziness be addictive? Is that even a thing? I don't know. But let's jump in. So, what this build is. Let's start with my special. I do have legendary cards, of course. And that's the base special for my lazy heavy gunner build. As you can see in here. On top of that, there is 15 extra points from my legendary cards that are as follows. Endurance, Intelligence, and Luck from the special category. It can be any other. If you already have different cards upgraded, you can just equip them and move the points around to achieve the same end result. Legendary special points are very flexible, so whatever you pick, it's usually not a bad choice, with exception of Charisma. As for whatever reason, Charisma do not count for some of the benefits. Don't take Charisma. Then, Master Infiltrator. Yes, it's lazy heavy gunner, so this is the most important one. It's a must. Taking one for the team for damage, and Electric Absorption for convenience, healing, tankiness. I was experimenting with other legendary perks too. I end up with those. And I'm really happy with results. I was never more satisfied with final result than this particular build. Even if some perk choices may seem odd after you take a first look, try it and you will see. Altogether, it works brilliantly. Now, under strength. I have strong back for extra carry weight, traveling pharmacy for carry weight, even though I'm not really using camps. But I will explain in a second why so much weight reduction perks when I barely use any of those items, if any at all. Master Heavy Gunner and all Heavy Gunner perks rank 1, Sturdy Frame. Not as much to reduce the weight of regular armor, but to make sure whatever regular armor piece I will pick up will be lighter than any power armor piece that I will pick up. It's very important for laziness factor of this build. I will demonstrate in a second. Then Bandolier, ammo weight reduction, and Blocka for tankiness. Under Perception, concentrated fire for occasional, if any, VATS usage. It's not really a VATS build. VATS, it's like, if needed. Fire in the Hole, Grenadier. Fire in the Hole is for some quest objectives, expeditions, and so on. Convenience. Grenadier for easy tagging on events. There is no demo expert on this build. It's not explosive build. It's just for easier tagging. Then Life Giver, Fireproof, Sunkissed. Yeah, you may be surprised. Sunkissed is here. It is a full health build. I was considering a legendary perk to remove rats, but it's not needed. Surprisingly, Sunkissed, rank 1, is already enough to not ever use a Radaway. For last week, I'm testing this build. I didn't use a single Radaway. This perk single-handedly do everything for me. And I don't need to think about it. And it cost 1 point. Surprisingly efficient. Under Charisma, I have Inspirational for a little bit more experience. This build is not fully focused on experience, but I want to keep getting experience for free too. Bodyguards, 1 rank, very efficient for tankiness. Strange in numbers for our mutations. Tenderizer for more damage. Friendly Fire for convenience from being able to heal. Mostly friendly NPCs whenever it's needed. It's easier to heal them than revive them, so that's why Friendly Fire must be here. Intelligence, I was experimenting with those perks, switching them over a couple times, and that's what I'm left with. First Aid for occasional healing, so I will be sure that whatever stim pack I use, it's enough. it's not the most important. Like, first aid comes in play occasionally, so if you want to swap it for something, you absolutely can. Stabilize for damage. Batch is included for my ammo. Scrapper, just to get more profit from all the loot that I will be taking. It's super easy to loot with this build. And Gunsmith to repair weapons less often. Some of the heavy guns do break really fast, especially on full health build. Initially I was trying without it, but it was not a good experience, so we end up with max out Gunsmith equipped. After that, Agility through Haika, Enforcer for crippling, mostly with Peppa Shaker, but any shotgun will work. Born Survival occasionally will save you. If I remember it right, I didn't die even once over last 5 days with this build, and I wasn't paying attention to my health at all. Adrenaline rank 4 could be rank 5, but just ran out of points. If you transfer some points from intelligence, you can do that. You will be able to make Adrenaline max out, although the difference is not really noticeable, unless you have OCD and you prefer to have either rank 1 or max out. So you may consider removing Scrapper, moving this 1 point in here. Up to you. I'm okay with running rank 4. Luck. We have Bloody Mess for damage, Ricochet for tankiness, Class Freak for overall bonuses, as we do have mutations, and Star Genes to keep our mutations untouched, mainly to do not get new mutations. It's not as much to keep mutations, as I'm not using Radaway, it's to prevent new mutations from appearing randomly if I go into highly irradiated environment. So that's why Star Genes is in here. Those are all the perks. Now, mutations, that's the important part. Mutations for this particular build. Adrenal reaction, even though it is mostly full health, we are not doing anything to keep health at full. So health will be fluctuating and it will be dropping to the level where Born Survival triggers. So adrenal reaction, with the downside of just 12 HP lost, will be giving you extra damage during the combat when your health is lower than full. Even if you are playing just at full health, it will be already kicking with a good bonus. Bird Bones, not as much for this agility, but reduced fall speed is essential to avoid power armor superhero landing. That's very annoying animation taking our time, so Bird Bones must be here. Carnivore, that's the lazy food, therefore carnivore. All easily accessible food that is already cooked is almost exclusively carnivore. So that's why it must be in here. Egghead for a little bit of extra experience when playing. Herd mentality, extra special on group. Even if you end up in a situation like I am in here, I'm by myself, no one else on team, so the mutations will look a little bit better when Strange in Numbers triggers when someone joins my team. So far, I'm by myself. Marsupial, extra jump height and carry weight. Scully Skin, extra resistance. And Speed Demon, faster movement and reload. Very important for lazy builds. The gear. The gear. About the weapons, it's basically a little bit of everything. As you can. I can, so I have it. But the important to mention, the most damage on this build will do Holy Fire if it's anti-armor or aristocrats. I have anti-armor. And second option, Plasma, Gatling Plasma. I have anti-armor, that's the second option. This one is crit damage, even though I'm not using it in VATS. Faster fire rate will be more beneficial, but it's okay. It can be whatever, as long as it's anti-armor. So 1-star Gatling Plasma will already work real well. Aristocrat anti-armor generally prefixes preferred for this build. Some weapons with vampire is handy to have. For example, Plasma Caster, the reason I even have it in here, is to generate plasma ammo, plasma cells, to then feed my Peppa Shaker. I'm using Peppa Shaker for crippling, as well for making myself immortal, because the healing from single barrel Peppa Shaker is just the next level of crazy if it's vampire. As long as you are hitting something with that weapon, you cannot die. It's just not possible. Two-shot explosive minigun, it's still my weapon of choice to very quickly tag a huge area of enemies. Just tag on events, open areas. So that's my weapon of choice. Two-shot explosive minigun with grenadier equipped. Fastest tagging of entire map as you can get. Other than that, I still really like multi-shot cremator for tagging. Really good, and the dot is awesome. Any cremator really works great. So, huge variety of weapons. The easiest one to get, of course, Final Word, as Beckett questline is dropping that already rolled with those legendary effects. So that's very easy to get, very comfortable to use. I use it a lot. Not the most damage output, but very nice to use, and I will demonstrate it soon. Now, about the armor, Union Power Armor the best choice, although as it's currently not craftable and we need to wait for a patch to fix it. If you don't have it, Excavator Power Armor will do great as you are waiting for Union Power Armor's plans to get fixed. Legendary effect, there is one important. You want 3rd star with weapon weight reduction. That's ultimate lazy roll. Everything else doesn't matter. You roll for the 3rd star, weapon weight reduction, full set, and you will thank me later. It's the convenience. Convenience is there. Nothing else matters. After that, of course, under armor doesn't work in power armor. We basically live in power armor. If you wonder about my jetpack paint, currently I have Blackbird Elite Jetpack, and that's combined with Commissioner Chaos paint for this power armor. That gives me this unique look. You like it or don't like, you use whatever look you like. Just what I was feeling like is screaming lazy heavy gunner build. Does it? Let me know. Does it scream lazy heavy gunner build from this look? I'm not absolutely sure, but I think so. Now, look at my carry weight. 165 out of 500. I can loot for hours using area looting, picking up everything, without going in over-encumber mode. I only need to manage my inventory like once a day. Unless I play a lot, then maybe twice. And under my food and drink, it's usually very little or nothing. I sell everything that I pick up or eat. I don't keep, that's why there is no good with salt. Similar situation with A. It's very easy when it comes to vendors and managing stuff. What I do, if I go at vendor, I open food and drink, there is nothing that I need to keep. I'm selling everything. Does it matter if useful? Under 8 is the similar situation. I'm just leaving super stims. So one item. Super easy to manage trading. So much faster than if you need to pay attention to what you are selling. So that helps managing stuff greatly. Now, if I need to use some buff, if I want, for most part I don't need it. There are camp items as well as this Nuka World vendor. If I want to use something, I trade with this vendor. See the best buffs. There is no problem with caps on this build, so we can waste some. I pop some that I know that I may use from those buffs, and they all here available everywhere and easy to eat after you buy, as they all appear under a new tab if you have nothing under your food and drink. So then you just spam apply it. So zero scrolling. That's why this build is considered lazy. As well, if you have Milux Steam at your camp, and my apologies if this video is a little bit lengthy, I'm just too excited about this build, I'm just so happy with the result. And here we have something attacking my camp, but my camp defended itself, which is good. Now, the Milux Steamer, I needed to lock it, as people keep helping themselves to my Milux Steamer too much, so that to the point that's nothing left to me. So the same situation. When I open it, I just pick one that I want to eat, and whatever I want to get rid of. Like those, this is the only food that's not useful. So there is always room. They do not spoil as long as those are inside the steamer. So I keep them inside. So I don't need good with salt at all. No management. And the same, Tapils under new tab. This is a bad buff, so just get rid of it. The other ones are to be eaten. That's as easy as food options are for this particular build, and it's optional. That's additional point. It's optional as well. Of course, the T. The good news about T, it does work if you are carnivore or herbivore. At herbivore, it works way better, but as carnivore, 10% is enough. We are not running dodgy, so there is no risk of running out of action points. And fusion cores and management. Okay, let me show you how this build perform on various enemies. Can I have a team with actual teammates? Oh, I can. So there was finally a room, so I can have teammates. Awesome. Standard action super mutants, those are the most consistent. If you are worried about ammo management on this build, I didn't notice any problems with ammo. Contextual ammo drops for most weapons are enough to replenish your ammo. Then if you are doing any expeditions or daily ops, you can get additional ammo. If you are low, like there is so many weapons you can choose from. So if you are low on any particular ammo type or core type, you switch to something else. You can have a lot of weapons, so you switch to something else. And then whatever is low on ammo, you switch to it when you are inside daily op or if you are doing expedition, as those activities always drop more than you are using. And that's how easy looting is. You always loot everything, and what you will notice, even though you always loot everything, there is still a room in your inventory. That's such crazy for me, as I'm used to carrying so much stuff that I'm always at max capacity. Almost always, that's my normal playstyle. So if I use loot all option, I need to manage my inventory, as I'm getting instantly into over encumbered mode if I do that. Therefore, I need to like manage it all the time. Okay, that's the Gatling Plasma. That's insanely powerful killer. This spin up time is of course the negative, but insanely powerful killer. I'm using the core type weapons like Gatling Plasma and Laser, mainly on boss fights. Or if I'm short or other ammo types. Those are so easy to get. Multiple cores, either Plasma or Fusion core, from at the end of daily op if you switch to this weapon, or at the end of expedition. Then I do have Ultrasight Gatling that is intentionally modified with severe beta wave tuner. It allows to add some fire damage, so I can heal friendly NPC with friendly fire on this weapon, as well as it's using regular cores, which means I can switch to this weapon at the end of expedition to replenish cores that my power armor is using. So I'm at 23 now. When I created this build, I had 4 cores. So it's so lazy build that I'm generating cores and ammo as I go. At some point I needed to make sure I'm not using the laser at the end of daily ops or expeditions. I was getting too much. I was getting more than I can use. One of the reasons I gave up on the perk Power User, as I don't need to save power. I have too much power. I don't need to save it in case of fusion core electricity. I have too much, so I don't need to save it. Quad LMG, in the future, it will be swapped for a new light machine gun for the next update. Furious Double is coming, so that will be so good for this build. Even just quad, like, it's so amazing, but imagine Furious Double. That will be so much better. The Plasma Caster for generation of ammo. It takes several shots, but not too many to kill a super mutant. So generation of ammo is not difficult. And plasma cores are being dropped. And yeah, look, every time I'm looting, pay attention to my total carry weight. I'm looting so much, and look at that, 182. It barely went up. Like, I'm looting multiple bodies to add 1 pound of the weight. And this one particular cremator I have modded with heavy barrel. And the reason for that, it's instigating now with heavy barrel. That what makes it enough to one-shot most enemies. The dot will finish them off, but I need to hit them. So the impact damage must happen, and then the dot will finish it. Unfortunately, with full health, without damage boosters, anything like that, regular cremator with multi-shot, if you don't hit, the dot alone is just slightly short from killing level 100 enemies. That's why this one is modified with heavy. And Peppa Shaker, not really for killing, that is for crippling, especially if there is a daily op that requires you to cripple. Look, this is one shot and his super mutant is completely disabled. And everything works like that. Cripple the Scourge Beast to force her to land. Like, insane power of crippling and healing. I don't know if you noticed, but my health replenished to full if I use it instantly. Okay, you probably don't notice this. The health oscillates around full all the time without any management. I didn't press Stimpack once. I didn't do anything to use it. There is auto-axe as well for the daily ops, for the occasion when I'm in daily op and enemies can only be killed by melee. The beauty of auto-axe, I have some melee food in my freezer that gives me plus 200% of damage, but even without it, it's enough to kill all regular enemies. But with 200% extra damage from food, if I want to, I just took one from the freezer, and I'm absolutely a melee build. In instant. I can even punch at one shot, kill everyone with power armor, as I do have Tesla bracers. It's not enough damage without the food. By popping one food and I could one punch kill those super mutants. Without the food, I can show you the damage. Without the food, just bare knuckles, no weapon, nothing that can break. I can still one-shot the regular super mutants that are not level 100. So the power is in here, or maybe my foot is still working. No, it is not. I don't have melee foot anymore. So that's correct. That's enough damage for regular super mutants. Maybe a little bit short if that would be a torso hit on level 100. A little bit short, but everything else, so lazy build that you can just punch stuff. If it comes to it, you have absolutely no ammo and no weapons, everything broken. I know it's not gonna happen, but if that could happen, punch them. And for some reason, I'm not sharing anything, which is not good. So let's share something with everyone. What do they all need? They do all need Bloody Mess. That's helpful for everyone. Not every build is using it. Hello there, Super Mutant. You see level 101 power attack slightly short, but that's only if without food. With any melee damage food, you don't need to cook it, of course. I'm talking about food that you buy from a vendor. Camp Ally or White Spring Refuge Restaurant vendor. So that's how you can do it. As well, Liquid Courage I'm not carrying with me, but I do have in my storage if needed. I'm carrying only the stuff that do not show at vendors, so I can sell everything as I showed you previously. And other stuff like spoiled meat, from time to time I will just drop. But I don't manage it often. Only if there would be a lot of stuff. Now I have 197 pound. I like looted entire West Tech. All those enemies with this build. I can keep going, playing, looting, collecting stuff without management for hours. Now, why the particular carry weight perks? If I put power armor, let me take it out so I show you what I mean. I open armor tab, and it's usually mix. That's not lazy. I need to somehow be able to store excess script on power armor frames. So what I do is sort by weight. Therefore, all power armor pieces are on top. Hellcat power armors are slightly lighter than power armor frames, but if you deploy all the frames for storage purposes, I usually do that. Like if I'm storing, I'm just deploying all three, and I will take a look where there is room for which pieces. I open armor tab, sorted by weight, and all power armor pieces are on top. Thanks to regular armor weight reduction, my secret service will be always below. So if I see secret service on this list or regular armor, I know when there will be single regular armor, I know it's already out of power armor pieces. I stored them all. And usually this tab is like full. After 1 day of gameplay, on this tab is like 20, 30 different random armor pieces that I cannot script as I run out of limit. So then, for the following days, I just log in quickly to do the scripting stuff. So that's how it works on this build. So intentionally, there is no power armor weight reduction. So I tried that, and unfortunately some power armor pieces end up lighter than the regular armor pieces, which is not recommended for this gameplay, for the ultimate lazy approach to the game. If you wonder about boss fight performance, you have enough damage for all boss fights and all the content. If you want to solo the bosses, yeah, it will take too much time, to be honest. It's not to solo the bosses. If you want to solo the bosses, you need a bloodied build. With this build, you can still do it, but the fight will take 15 to 20 minutes. So, too long for me and too expensive. Oh, the event just popped in here, so I can show you the area tagging with two-shot minigun. So, if I want to tag everything, I don't always want to, but if I want to, I have this two-shot minigun, I can just spray the area using the jetpack, so it's easier to tag. So I jump with a jetpack, but I spray the area, and I tag absolutely everything around me, everywhere. You can see how easily and how huge area I can tag with that. It's a little bit annoying if you shoot close to other people. I hope Bethesda at some point will add the ability to reduce the explosions, as those are quite annoying at some points. Reduction to explosion would be very welcomed if Bethesda can do it. Especially with cremators, when a lot of cremators exploding around me, I cannot see a thing, to be honest. Luckily with this build, even if I don't see anything around me, I will be still good. So I can just close my eyes, I know I will not die, I can spin around with the minigun, that I will still tag stuff around me. So that's kind of work. That's kind of work, but not perfect. I wish Bethesda can add the management to those explosions into the game settings. That would be a very welcome change. And now, that is probably everything you need to know about this build. Let me know what you think. Is it something that you are willing to try? Or are you more like, nope, bloodied build, it's what's ruled the wasteland? Yes, it is the truth. But this build is what makes the wasteland a holiday. And that being said, thank you a lot for watching, and see you all in the next one.